Welcome to Community Crossfire, another point of view, 2-hour, hour and a half mayoral debate. This is a debate that will be a little bit different than you're used to seeing or dealing with. First of all, I want to thank the Congo group, Cherry, Trippy, and the whole group. They did a fabulous job in getting this whole station together. I want to thank Rhonda Graham from the News Journal and Alan Lodell from WDEL. And also, we have people in the audience. I want to thank, can you show the audience? Oh, and Kim, I want to thank you. Kim, where you at, baby? Kim Congo, and Julius, all you guys for helping us out. This is for the candidates, Rob Bovell, Kevin Kelly, Bill Montgomery, Dennis Williams, and Scott Spence. What we're going to do is going to be a little bit different because this is Community Crossfire, and we want you guys to engage. So the people who've never gotten the opportunity, who never get to the Rotary, who never gets to Delaware Art Museum, will get an opportunity to see some of your guys' ideals. You picked the numbers out the hat from question 1. I'm going to ask the first question, followed by Rhonda, followed by Alan. Is that okay?
Yep.
Who picked the number 1? Who do I go to first?
I have the first question.
Okay, but it's going to be you, but everyone's going to answer the first question. Everybody's going to get a chance to answer. You know, this is the first question. I've got an opportunity. I know you guys are getting tired of each other. I mean, you've been in 1,000 debates. So right off the bat, have anyone on this whole panel said anything to you, Robert, Kevin, Bill, or Dennis, or Scott, that you said, wow, that's a lie, or something just not, it may not be a lie, but it's not really truthful for what you believe, you know, public safety, housing, or anything. So that's the first question I'm asking you 5 guys. And what we're going to try to do, it's not going to be a lot of structure, but we do have to keep some structure. So if you could keep it to like a minute and a half, and I'm going to time you. Robert, so back to the question. Has anyone or have everyone, you could say all 4 of them, said something you like, man, that was the damn lie. All right, go ahead.
You know what, first, I'd like to thank the Congo Hour and Community Crossfire for even having this debate and televising it because, again, the viewing audience who heavily watches both shows don't get a chance to hear us. But I would like to say, I want to congratulate each candidate, really. A lot of what I said in my platform on my website, how I've been saying government needs to be proactive, how we need to revitalize the city. Each candidate has taken some inserts from what Robert Bovell has said and applied it to what they're saying. So to me, it's very, very helpful. It's actually letting the people know that what I'm saying and what I'm trying to say, the message is getting across. Now the other side of that is actually grassroots, knocking on doors, letting people know how serious we are as a candidate. And again, I was there in 2004, I was there in 2008. I saw something wrong, I wanted to fix it, and I'm here again, ladies and gentlemen, in 2012. But again, I can't do it without you. So I do congratulate all 4 candidates for using something, some way, word, or phrase from Robert Bovell's platform and my initiatives.
Thank you, Robert. Who was the second?
Number 2. Yes, I'd like to say something. First of all, I'd like to reference Kevin Kelly for when he closed out. He stated that I was just like Jim Baker. The only thing me and Jim Baker have in common, we're both African-American men. And I thought that was a cheap shot. But I'm going to let that go. Everybody in this city knows I'm not Jim Baker. They know me. They know who I am. I've been an elected officer for 17 years. I'm not Jim Baker. He's like Jim Baker. He voted for him in the domain. He followed Jim Baker's water and carried his water. Fought him on several occasions, but then agreed with him on several occasions. So I think he's more like Jim Baker than I am. And one more thing, I was a little disturbed that Scott Spencer last Saturday, he read a state resolution and didn't even mention my name. At a function, he knew he was not supposed to do that, and I thought he was a more honorable man than that. That really surprised me, but that's okay. I understand as the wee hours come and the front runner always gets taken shots from all his opponents. Thank you. That's what I like to say.
Okay. Third.
I'm third. Okay. I don't think anybody's lied. There's been a lot of mischaracterizations of things, and my opinion of Mr. Williams stands by it. Mr. Williams is arrogant at times. Sometimes doesn't let the truth be out about what happens. I've been told the reason the city has problems because I've been around for 20 years. Well, I fought the administration. I fought Baker. I never heard anybody from Dover fighting, challenging what was going on in Wilmington. Just a lot of rubber stamping of what was happening here. Mr. Montgomery from time to time says, that none of us are experienced to run for office. Well, I'm not sure that's the case. We're all running for the mayor. It's a political position. I've been doing more politics for 20 years than anybody on this table. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's any lies. Everybody has their right to say different opinions about everybody. But I think all in all, it's been fair and respectful. But it'll get very interesting this evening, I can tell you that right now.
All right, thank you. Scott?
Well, first, I'm not getting tired of any of my fellow candidates because the conventional political wisdom is that they're my opponents, but I'm on the same team. We're fellow Democrats, and I look at this as a team tryout, just like I graduated from Slasianum. We're all in this to find out in this tryout who can run the fastest, who can run the farthest, who can hit the issues the hardest. Whoever makes that final cut, we're going to cheer them on to make our great city better. But specifically to Dennis Williams, Representative Williams, I will apologize for not mentioning your name. I didn't know that when I was given the resolution. In fact, Councilman Potter read a resolution from the city beforehand at the event, did not list all the names, and so I thought it was in interest of time that I did. I didn't realize that you were on there, so I apologize. That was part of the protocol. I wasn't aware of it. But specifically what's been said about me, I've been told that I'm not ready to be mayor, that I don't know anything about police work. I think that's an insult that is not founded at all, because as a consultant in the transit industry, I hear that all the time when I go to the transit.
Who said that?
Mr. Williams said I wasn't ready to be mayor, and he also indicated that I don't know anything about police work. Well, I get that challenge all the time when I go into transit systems, whether it be in the United States or in Cairo or the Far East, that I don't know anything about.
Scott, your time is up. You'll get a chance to come back. Rhonda?
Do I get a chance to answer that?
Bill's going to
Oh, Bill, I'm sorry. Bill, I'm sorry, Bill.
Thank you, Norman. Out and out lies? No. The issue I have with my opponents, this is not a talk show or a game show. This isn't Dancing with the Stars. This is the people of this city picking the chief executive officer of the city, a city that in any given year you're spending upwards to $300 million a year. So you're looking for someone who has the experience. My problem with my opponents is I don't think any of them have the breadth and the depth of experience that I do to deal with the problems facing the city. We're coming out of the worst, hopefully coming out of the worst financial situation since the Great Depression. So I think it all goes around leadership. Dennis will tell you that he balanced the state budget and all that. The state budget gets put together by the governor and the budget director. The legislators, whether it's Dennis at the state or Kevin on city council, they'll tinker with the budget for a couple months, but it's the administrator's budget. And I've been the leader, the administrator, putting those budgets together. Robert goes on and on about vacant housing, and we've said over and over, there are about 52, I think, vacant houses that the city actually owns right now, and some vacant lots. So we're not the big property owner people think we are. And Scott I like a lot, but Scott drives me nuts every time he mentions the issue of a homicide unit, because it leaves people in this community with the idea that we're not investigating homicides. We have a detective unit. A big piece of that unit does nothing but homicides and shootings. The only difference there is somebody got lucky and they didn't get killed.
Well, we can see there are some differences.
This is for all the candidates except for Mr. Montgomery. If Mr. Montgomery's estimate of a $5 million deficit holds, can you tell us how that will affect your budget in terms of spending and also in terms of eliminating programs?
I have the second question. Well, my background is in budget, more than anybody on this table. You have to take a hard look at all the functions of city government. You have to sit down with the unions and see where we can have some efficiencies, where there are going to be cost-cutting measures that can take place. Because the $5 million deficit was proposed, it's not $5 million, it's actually less than that. Through council's effort of reducing expenditures, eliminating vacant positions, we're able to bring it down. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at special events. Do we need to be funding all the special events that we have? Can we fill all the vacant positions? Can we consolidate departments, L&I, real estate and housing planning? Can we have some more efficiencies in other city governments? Use a program called City Stat where we measure what we're doing. What are our outcomes? Are we using our taxpayers' dollars effectively? But at the end of the day, core services are public safety, public works, L&I. You draw that line and what's below it may not be able to be funded.
You guys have.
Rhonda, actually, the budget hole is much deeper than that. When I said at the Rotary Club debate that I would raise taxes, something none of these guys have stepped up to, the reason I did is because the 5-year projections for this city show a $24 million cumulative deficit over the next 4 years. Not the year that's already passed. I'm talking about the next 4 budget years that the new mayor will have to deal with. $24 million over 4 years. We've cut $11 million out of the budget. We've cut 100 positions out of the budget in the last 4 years. So all that low-hanging fruit, the fat that people talk about, it's all gone. The tough decisions remain for the next mayor. You've got to cut this budget. You've got to control costs. And that's the issue we're facing. I propose a $15 million or a 15% tax increase. I don't want to see that as a taxpayer, but we got to be honest with the people and tell them if we're going to keep this city afloat and keep your cops on the street and your firemen working, you better step up and acknowledge the reality.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery.
Thank you.
Well, here's the fundamental financial flaw what Mr. Montgomery just mentioned. He's assuming the city is performing at the highest efficiency of financial ability. It's not the case. I hear this with transit systems around the country. That service is so bad we have to cut it, we have to raise fares double digit. That ultimately can chase people away. Raising taxes in this city after all the other tax increases we have can ultimately chase businesses and residents away, and we end up with less money than before the taxes happen. So under a Spencer administration, we're going to have an approach where I'm going to let the employees be in control of the goal of finding savings and sharing a percentage of those savings with them as a bonus. Watch where they find the efficiencies. And implementing things which the city is not even doing, like reverse auctioning system, and also stop overspending. The city entered into a contract with Mr. Montgomery and Mr. Kelly's support with Honeywell, over $35 million without shopping around for the best price. Here, when they're ready to shut off people's water and shut off their homes for back taxes, and they overspend on a contract without shopping the price around.
Thank you very much.
Number 4, contrary to what Mr. Montgomery says and Mr. Kelly says, I have quite a bit of experience when it comes down to budgeting. We will look at the entire budget. We will look at things we have to consolidate. We will look at things we have to cut. We will build public and private partnerships. These are the things we have to do. I don't think the city has listened to the private community enough and brought the people to the table to work with them on special events. We will try to get people to pay for special events. We will look at ways of consolidation. We will look at ways that we have to do some cost cutting. Well, the Williams administration would suffer the pain just like we did in the state if we had to do something to our employees. If we have to cut salaries with our employees, the Williams administration will cut salaries also. I don't believe everyone in the administration needs a car. There's a carpool. People can go down and get motor vehicles. I believe the chief, L&I, and the mayor's office are probably the only ones that need motor vehicles. There's a lot of ways we can cut. You're paying people 6-digit figures. Buy your own cell phone. Buy your own laptop. We'll just reimburse you. The good old days are gone forever. And I'll have the fortitude and the nerve to go in there and take a stand and get this done.
Thank you, Mr. Mills.
Do we have a bonus round on that one?
No, sure.
Can I answer first? Hold on, Bill. Hold on, buddy.
Well, if he shoot back at me, I'm going to shoot back at him because he already shot at me.
Yeah, we're going to let you shoot.
Okay.
Bring your gun.
Crossfire, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I believe government needs to stand up to the challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, I may tout vacant properties. I may say trimming the fat from the budget. These things are possible, and we can do it. Everyone on the panel has already talked about overspending, ridiculous spending, things we need to cut. We need to challenge ourselves as a government. There's over 1,463 vacant properties for a reason. City government has something to do it. The mayor's administration can do something about it. Okay, the percentage is low that the city owns, but these are initiatives that can start a process and bring in a valuable finance back to the city, making people homeowners, changing things. If we can do that with big businesses and banks and let them see that we have the ability to turn this thing around, maybe they too will step aside and allow us to do it. But our government needs to challenge itself, and we need to stop sending our contracts to outsiders. Why can't Wilmington take care of its own? It's about Wilmingtonians first, not outsiders. I'm tired of seeing people from all over the other places get work in our town, and we don't take care of our own people.
Thank you very much. Was that all 5?
I'll comment.
No, okay.
I'll come on.
No, hold.
I was the last person.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to let Alan ask his question, then we're going to mix it up a little bit, if that's okay. Go ahead, Alan.
Well, I was going to ask about public safety, but I think this merits further consideration, our current round. So during some of our individual interviews with some of you, I kept asking specific things that the city does that may be things we can't do anymore, whether it be 4th of July or Clifford Brown or City TV channel. I mean, just looking at things that some would construe as icing but not basic services. Would any of you be prepared, if the political budgetary situation got worse, to look at some of those things that might be considered icing on the cake and maybe no longer affordable?
Is that question 3?
Yeah, that's question 3.
Okay. Who's number 1?
That's me. Alan, yeah, I think everything is on the table. What I've said before is that what I hear from my cohorts up here are 10-cent solutions to multi-million-dollar problems. We talk about 4th of July. 4th of July is more than half paid for by the corporate community. These are small things. These are small things in the scheme of the problems we're dealing with. We're dealing with the question of the next mayor's got to decide where to find 2.4 on top of the deficits I talked about. Another $2.4 million if they want to keep the police and firemen if those grants run out and when those grants run out. These are the big issues. So take-home vehicles, everybody talks about them. There are 68 take-home vehicles in the city. Most of them are in police and fire, and they are all first responders. Did we learn nothing from 9/11, that we want our first responders on the scene quickly when we need them?
Thank you, Bill.
It's nice to everybody with a take-home car, especially when you live in the city. But the reality of the situation is, as we look at all these special events, we have to take a critical look at them. Mr. Montgomery wants to just raise taxes by 15% as a solution to what we have to do here. At the end of the day, we're going to have to make some cuts. Things are going to go away. But we're not going to, do the cuts on the backs of the people. We have to focus back in on neighborhoods and making them a safe and secure place to live. Once we have safety in a city, investment will grow. More people want to come here to be able to have jobs and opportunities. We have to invest in education of young people. But under my administration, everything will be fair game at the end of the day. That's not a core service. And we're not going to balance our budgets on the backs of young people as well. We have to continue to provide programs for them.
Thank you, Kevin.